you have lost your goddamn mind. So, recently, if you haven't been paying attention to the news, Netflix announced that it will no longer allow people to share their passwords. You know, like before, Netflix was like, yeah, you know, if you've got a cousin over there and a best friend over there, and you guys have one account, we'll allow you to log in from 3 separate locations so that you can join the Netflix family and see all of our great details. I knew that wasn't going to last. As somebody who's a part of the gaming community, we saw something along these lines a couple years ago. If you remember correctly, during the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era, when they decided to move on to the Xbox One, Microsoft made a big stink of the fact that we're always online, you're not going to be able to share your games, it's you and only you that's going to be able to enjoy your console. That led to the PlayStation 4 utterly beating the shit out of Microsoft for the next 2 console generations. Some could say that Microsoft's current state, where everything is in shambles, there's going to be another video talking about that, is the direct result of the bad decisions that were made during the lifetime of the Xbox One, where they are paying for the sins of their greed. Here we are again, because if you've been looking around at the streaming service just landscape, you'll see a lot of streaming services have essentially died. And if they haven't died, they're entering into these tenuous partnerships, or basically being bought out by these other more popular streaming services. I think the one that's currently happening is between Paramount and someplace else, because neither of the streaming services are really doing well. So they're just gonna merge the both of them together into one solid streaming service. We're gonna see how that works. But for the longest time, since the collapse of the great emperor blockbuster, Netflix has been at the top of the heap, the king, the ruler of it all. Amazon Video doesn't give a shit because Jeff Bezos has the money of Charlemagne at the moment. So whether or not it sinks or it floats, he can just put a couple billions into it and it'll be absolutely fucking fine. But Netflix has ruled from the top of Mount Olympus over all of the other streaming services. And the reason for that is because it had a really solid catalog. It did really good movie and TV show rotations. I'm talking about classics that we saw on TV that would come in one month, you'd be able to binge watch it, and then it would leave and then be replaced by something else. And it had some really good Netflix originals. But I'm not gonna lie, over the last few years, I feel as though Netflix has been fucking up. We've seen that with a lot of the cancellations that have essentially been happening. Sen 7, the most recent one, Warrior Nun, I Am Not Okay With This. A lot of these really good shows that Netflix basically looked at and said, hey, you're not really that good. You're not Stranger Things popularity or quality, or you don't draw in the numbers of Stranger Things, and they end up getting canceled. Horrible way to run a business. Nothing is going to ever be as big as your number one. Not everything you make is going to turn out to be Fortnite or turn out to be Stranger Things. Sometimes you have a show that's middle of the heap. If Stranger Things gets, I don't know, 100 million people in seats to watch a fucking show every single time it releases a new season, sometimes you also have to rely on shows that are only going to bring in 15, 20 million, 25 million. Shit, sometimes a dedicated core audience of 10 million people who just love a series that are going to show up every single fucking season to enjoy it. Netflix does not understand that. That concept is outside of their realm of thought, because they need every single show that they put out to draw in 100 million people. Why? Because of their model. You see, Netflix's model is basically spend money that we don't have and make it up on the back end. That works only for your super big shows, but instead it fucks in the ass those really, really smaller shows that are really, really friggin' good. Now, we flash forward to this. Why exactly would Netflix suddenly decide to move away from allowing you to share your password and your account with 3 other people? Because they think And this is how out of touch they are. They believe that those three other people are going to go out and purchase their own Netflix accounts. I have been a part of the internet community for, I would say, the last 25 years, since it became a really, really big and mainstream thing. Allow me to inform you, from the days of LimeWire itself, from the days of Napster, if people were never going to pay for your service and were riding on the coattails of other people in order to enjoy your service, these people are not going to suddenly pay for your service. They're going to go and download a fucking BitTorrent client. They're going to find the current hot BitTorrent site that hasn't been sniped and taken out by the FBI, and they're going to download and illegally download your episodes every single time they become available on that site. You're not going to make money from these people. If anything, you are going to end up pushing these people away. Now, that's not to say that, hey, maybe one or two of them would go out and get their own Netflix account. True. I'd say maybe like 10-15% of them would probably go off and purchase their own Netflix account. Here's the thing. Now that you've decided to do this, out of spite, those people are never going to go and purchase a Netflix account. Out of spite, the people who do have Netflix accounts are going to simply just cancel their Netflix series, and they're just going to basically pirate your shit off of a torrent site, because we live in a world of cancel culture. You see, the entire thing is about keeping people appeased and keeping them happy. The moment you stop appeasing people, and the moment you stop making people happy, they will find ways to screw you over. And the easiest way to screw you over is to spend 5 minutes, like I said, downloading a BitTorrent or downloading a cloud torrent and just downloading your episodes for free. Hell, I know a bunch of people who have fucking Fire Sticks and don't pay for any of this shit. If anything, all you've done is risen from the ground up. You have given strength. Your Netflix's strength has been stripped away, and it has been given to this Fire Stick that we had ignored for so long, but gives the people all of our shows for free. That is the situation you find yourself in. And the question everybody's looking around asking themselves is, why exactly has Netflix decided to suddenly fucking do this? Basically, it's because of shareholders. You see, companies are all about growth. And they're all about expansion. And as you grow and as you expand, you suddenly hit your limit. And you start looking around for ways in which you can expand upon your revenue. Because remember what I said earlier, Netflix's whole system, the way in which they operate and make their money, is to spend money they do not have on these shows, on these movies, on these titles from foreign countries, and then make it up on the back end through subscriptions, through merchandising, through advertising that happens within the world of their show. But when you hit your net limit, the maximum amount that you can borrow, that you can spend before you make it back, before you start seeing that you're not having the big gains you were before, and they're more moderate, slowly moving towards small gains because your shows and your movies are outpacing your currency, you start looking around for other things that may increase your revenue. And some genius on the board has called for this. You've decided upon this. And the only question that needs to be asked right now is, when do you collapse? Because for most companies that end up taking this route, eventually there is a backlash, there is a reckoning. And for a lot of them, they're not here anymore. Or they do so much damage to their brand, people move on to other streaming services, take their money elsewhere, put it into these other services, and suddenly these other services end up just as big or even bigger than what you currently provide. So it's going to be interesting to sit down and see. I can't wait. I am somebody who who loves seeing corporate chaos, when corporations do stupid shit in an attempt to nickel and dime their customers, and then they get absolutely royally fucked for it. We sent Blockbuster to I don't even know how to fucking describe it. Like, we put it in the dirt. Like, we dug a fucking 6-foot hole, rolled Blockbuster into that hole, covered it over, and called it a fucking day. We did almost the exact same thing to Redbox, where they're still around, but you don't see commercials for those motherfuckers on TV anymore. And I'm telling you right now, it's gonna happen to Netflix as well, where we're gonna dig that 6-foot hole, we're gonna roll Netflix in there, and we're gonna pat that bad boy over, and a lot of us are gonna move on to either HBO Max, whatever the hell Paramount's doing, whatever the hell's going on with some of these other services that have what we are interested in. Because currently, as I said before, you screw with your consumers will turn right back around and they will screw you back. And when we screw you back, there's no fucking coming back. You're done. In the dirt. 6 feet. It's over. And I can't wait to see how the fuck this plays out. Let me know what you think about this whole Netflix situation. It's bugging the shit out of me. Comment below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.